Welcome to Slash Forward. In this episode, we're going to fail to learn from our prior mistakes, relishing in our hubris with the follow-up to Demons, Demons 2. Let's get to it. We open on a narration over a black screen explaining the events of the last movie, and then we're greeted with the natural end result of what must have been a quarantine haircut, which pans out to reveal a harmless, out-of-context shot from a pastry kitchen. The shot further scales out to the broader city, showing that life has gotten back to normal. As one of our main characters, George, heads home to the tower, we get the sense we may be walking into a Gremlins 2 situation here. We then meet a variety of characters throughout the building. Hannah, George's wife, doing some pregnant calisthenics, and Tony in the gym, making sure everyone's keeping things moist. And then on to Sally's yuppie birthday party. As she laments her physical appearance, she becomes distracted by a seemingly live news event about the prior demon apocalypse. Everyone seems to be tuned in, and through it, we learn the demon problem was solved with the construction of a wall of moderate size. These guerrilla journalists easily scale the wall and venture in, looking for those killer shots. Back at the tower, we see George studying for the big test, and Sally's getting her rave on. Unfortunately, a partygoer nonchalantly invites over her ex, Jacob, and Sally storms off to her bedroom to throw a hissy fit. Meanwhile, since this movie is from an era before found footage films were popular, we see the journalists continue on their way, apparently being filmed by an invisible cameraman. The haunting grounds are mostly empty, but they do find a partially exposed torso, which is pretty cool. So again, forgetting this is being actively filmed, they take a photo for posterity. And here, one of the crew members, who previously scratched her hand, drips her rich, nourishing blood into the corpse's mouth. We then get a moment of familiar verisimilitude as the flashes on these cameras both fail in sync. The crew then learns the terrible and callous power of nature, and Sally, looking on from her bedroom, gets rock hard at the images of destruction. That demon energy locks onto her generalized lust for vengeance and uses it as a gateway to her room, emerging from the TV. Soon, the birthday brat rejoins the party just in time for cake, makes a wish, and then totally destroys the vibe by making everyone stare at her wretched teeth while she transforms. The partygoers find the child locks have been engaged, and they get absolutely shredded to ribbons. Once she's had her fill, Sally begins molting, and her caustic blood does a number to the building's structural integrity, as it leaks to the floors below, wreaking havoc on the hardwood in the sauna, and eventually knocking out the lights in the tower. This leaves George stuck in the elevator with a lady who absolutely loses her mind, while Tony, who is apparently the gym's universal spotter, recommends they all leave, but with some exceptions for those who find themselves too busy blasting their pecs. Downstairs, we learn that the phones are also dead and the automatic doors are locked. Back to following our blood trail upstairs, we see young Davey's been lapping up the life juice, transforming into his true savage self. He chases down the master with ease, and reclaims sovereign rights to his own destiny, while one floor up, the partygoers also gain their freedom. George manages to crack the elevator doors just in time to bear witness to the pandemonium and the return of hell on earth, making the elevator now feel nice and cozy. At the gym, the stragglers go to work, but are no physical match for the demons. After a brief encounter, Tony makes a wise decision to run. However, all this prime beef turns momentarily into a cattle call as they're stuck behind unbreakable glass, forcing them to a side exit leading to the parking garage. There, they fortify their position while taking extreme measures to escape, but to no avail. Sensing danger, little Ricky proceeds down a hallway free of demons, but with high risk of a poltergeist attack. When he sees the oncoming horde, he's forced into an air duct to hide, which saves him from this demon but results in him being doused in a stranger's blood. Around this time, with the coast appearing to be clear, Ripper tries to help George out, but the coast quickly becomes unclear and he gets ripped up himself, resulting in a mild confrontation for our elevator survivors. We learn that Hannah's been keeping it safe until now, but is compelled to open the door to the sound of a frightened child, a ruse put on by dickhead Ricky, who eventually works his way in and menaces Hannah, but then succumbs to a broodling that's been growing inside of him and wants to meet the world. Back in the garage, they're making preparations.
How's it going with the bottle?
Not good, because we don't know how to make one. We're normal people. Hannah works to avoid this very Boglin-esque demon, eventually trapping it in whatever this thing is. And then she takes the time she's earned to stand and watch as it attempts to break free. This, of course, prompts her to use her household supply of acid on the spawnling. At the elevator, George is climbing for help when his cellmate transitions and begins to pursue him up the cables. He's able to kick her off and make it to the top. He then arrives home right in time to spear Hannah's attacker with an umbrella. In the garage, they've finished their preparations and a major fight ensues. Tony does a much better job this time around, right up until the time he succumbs to a classic monkey steals the peaches move. This young girl then watches helplessly as Papa tests his mettle in Mortal Kombat, dying a valiant death but leaving her to the mercy of the horde. George and Hannah head to the roof, the safest location on any high-rise, and pick up two survivors along the way. One survivor is mercilessly killed on the stairwell, and the other after she makes her change on the roof. It's unclear what the plan is, but they do rappel from the roof to a lower roof. An absolutely stunning strategy. Sally's close behind, but George is a level 40 demon killer at this point and makes quick work of her. They find a TV studio inside where Hannah can lay down comfortably to begin the birthing process. Since it's now daytime outside, the demon curse is passed, resulting in the easiest, quickest, and cleanest labor in recorded history. When one last demon stumbles in, they find that it's blind and dying. And the movie ends, perchance, on some sort of social commentary? And that was Demons 2, a nice little preemptive mashup of Gremlins 2, Poltergeist 3, and a little bit of Videodrome sprinkled in. All in all, a very strong sequel. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to become a part of the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching.